This is Vicki Robinson, and today I wanted to show you one of my favorite tricks in Photoshop. Unfortunately, this is not available in Photoshop Elements. It's strictly Photoshop and Photoshop CC. My little tip for you is to use the Snapshot button of the History panel whenever you can, and whenever you find you're working on something where you may need to go back to what a set of layers looked like before you made subsequent changes. And I'll show you, sort of demonstrate to you what I mean by that. Here I've got one of my scans, and I want to make brushes from each one of these individual items on here. So in my normal process, I would go and select this, make it a brush. In my process, I wouldn't worry right now about the size or the name of the brush because I need to check it for stray pixels before I make a final brush. So I would just say OK and deselect. I'd add a new layer, fill that with white so I have a contrast, and add a new layer that I can brush on and then stamp my brush down. I have an action that I run for jaggies. Say apply the layer mask and get rid of the stroke here. Oops, sorry. Get rid of the stroke and hide these two layers. And now I'm going to run an action to trim this down and save this file off as a ping for it to go along with my brush set. But as you can see, if I wanted to make brushes from the next item on the page, I'm sort of messed up because I've trimmed my document down. Now obviously I can go back in history and figure out where the point is that I trimmed that down. But remember, as you go on and every step you do, your history gets larger and larger, and it becomes a little more difficult to find what you're looking for. So what I discovered is that I can use the Snapshot feature to cut out a couple of those steps for me. And let's go back into the point where in my history where I had resized my image, my levels are fine, and I'm ready to make my brush. Now, in order to capture the history state, I'm going to do the steps that I want to be able to come back to each time. And those steps include my image resolution adjustment and my layers, but it also includes adding the blank layer for contrast, the white layer, and then adding the new blank layer above it. And I'm going to hide the visibility of this as well. Then I'm going to come over to my history state and I'm going to say Snapshot. Now I'm going to continue on and make my brushes here. With this layer hidden, I'm going to go ahead and select my brush, give it a name, deselect, activate this white layer, stamp on my new layer, pretend I've already checked for jaggies, hide these two layers, run my trim action, and now I'm done, saved off my file. Now I need to go back and create my next brush. I'm going to come back, you see here, just to show you, I've trimmed away all those other pixels, but I'm going to use my history panel, come back to my snapshot, and there you have it. I'm ready to go ahead and select my next section to make a brush. So I hope this gives you an idea of how you might use the snapshot feature of the history panel in order to speed up your own workflow.